Hello and welcome to the channel. Today's video is about an Airbus A380X by the FlyByWire. And in today's video, I am going to display how to do a cold and dark setup of this gigantic aircraft. All right, so we are in the flight deck of an Airbus A380X. And currently it is in the cold and dark mode. Of course, in order to get into the cockpit, you have to press the Shift C. And again, this is in a walk around mode. So when you initially load the flight, it will be in a walk around mode. And if you would like to do walk around just like a flight first officer or captain does in real world, then yes, certainly you can utilize your numpad. And the keys will be 4, 8, 6, or 2. Once you're into the cockpit, there won't be any power to the aircraft. As you can see, currently everything is dead in the aircraft. So we need to bring power to the aircraft. Now, in the simulation, of course, you can click onto the tablet and that tablet will be powered on. As you guys can see, my fuel as well as payload is being imported from the SimBrief as I utilize the SimBrief. Now, today's flight plan is from London Heathrow to Munich. And this is my call sign, British Airways 241 and Airbus A380-800. This is our operational flight plan. And you want to go onto this page for the ground services. Now, if you don't see the GPU connected, of course, we want to connect the ground power unit. That's a GPU, as well as we can bring in the jet bridge as well. So the jet bridge will start moving. Now, let's power up this aircraft. On the overhead panel, you want to continue with battery 1, battery number 2, ESS battery, and APU battery. There are 4 different batteries in this gigantic aircraft there, because again, it's huge. Then subsequently, you want to have the external power. Since it's available, we are going to get on the external power so that we have the electricity coming down to the aircraft and we can start working on the aircraft. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, because we are working on the aircraft, we want to turn the beacon on so that people around us know that somebody's in the cockpit or in the flight deck and they are trying to work. Alrighty, now the next thing we want to do is we want to extinguish all these white lights. So again, we'll start with the crew supply. I won't turn on the fuel pump yet, as in real life, you do not turn them on. However, in the simulation, yes, you can do them. But we'll just leave them on for a little bit up here, right? Okay, let's get back here. And as you guys can hear, the aircraft is coming to life. Now, let me open up my SayIntentions so that I can let the cabin crew that we can start the boarding. Cabin crew, we can start boarding now.
Copy, Captain. We will begin boarding now.
Okay. And we are going to tune into clearance as well. So this is my SayIntentions. It's an AI ATC. Now currently I have tuned into the clearance. So let's obtain our clearance as well. Good day, London Heathrow clearance. Speedbird 241. We are requesting our IFR clearance to Munich. We are ready to copy.
Speedbird 241.
There we go. That's our clearance.
Juliet departure. Runway 09 right. Initial climb 6000. Squawk 6611.
I'm going to do the readback now. Clear to Munich via mod Mike 1 Juliet departure. Runway 09 right. Initial climb 6000. Squawk 6611. Speedbird 241.
Speedbird 241, readback correct. Ground is on 121.905. Safe flight, sir.
Ground on 121.905. Good day. All right, I'm not going to tune into the ground yet. Now, let's continue with our overhead panel up here. So the next thing we are going to do is going to start the master APU. And after a few seconds, start the APU. Once you do that, you will see flap open in here. That being said, our APU auxiliary power unit is coming to life.
To reach out to any member of our crew. Thank you for choosing to fly with us today, and we hope you enjoy the flight.
And now I'm going to go ahead and turn on all the fuel pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on and on. And I'm going to turn my ADIRS as well. 1, 2, and 3. This is 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the next thing I'm going to arm the emergency exit lights. The seatbelt goes auto, smoke auto, strobe we can put the auto, nav lights we can turn them on, and as you see APU is available, so we can start the APU blade. Alrighty, now up here we can go back here and just make sure everything is accurate here, and we can start with our FMS, Flight Management System. That's the Airbus call it. Boeing calls it FMC, Flight Management Computers. All right, so you want to click onto FMS1 as you want to be on FMS1, and you will be brought down to Active Init page, where if you're using the SimBrief, you can just send the company flight plan request, or you can do the manual as well. So if I want, I can put in manual flight number from to my airports, etc., every single thing. However, today we are using the SimBrief, and therefore we'll just go with the company flight plan. So the company flight plan has been received, and we are going to insert that into our FMS. Again, before proceeding further, you just want to double check all the information is accurate up here. Now, next thing, I am going to click on IRS. It says aligning in 7 minutes. So we do have 7 minutes before the IRS can be aligned here. That being said, we are going to go on a fuel and load page. Now, how do you bring in fuel and load page? Where do you get this information from? So you want to head back to the tablet. In this page, of course, you want to load the fuel. So that's my SimBrief fuel and payload. You can load them. You can keep instant, fast, or real time as well, depending on how faster you want them to be loaded up. So that's my upper deck and my main deck. Now, the numbers we're grabbing is from here. So our zero fuel weight is 749,215 pounds. Of course, we're going to round this number up. So that'll be 749.3 as our zero fuel weight. 749.3, that's my zero fuel weight. Now my zero fuel weight center of gravity. So that comes from here. It says 35.33. So I am going to put 35.4. And it's loaded. All right, so we are going to put our block fuel now. So the block fuel comes from here, the dispatch flight plan or operational flight plan up here. That's the document will provide us the block fuel. So block fuel here under planned fuel, as you can see, 339.89. So that's going to be 339.9. Okay, and that'll be accepted, and everything else is auto. So as you can see, it's been set up. Now we are going to go to the next page, performance or perf page they call it. In here we need to put V1, VR, V2s or takeoff speeds, as well as our flaps and thrust for all that information. Now thrust for, of course, we're going to throw in 36.3, and flaps, we're going to fly with flaps 1 today. Now this information can be obtained from your SimBrief. You will open up your SimBrief flight plan, which you just created previously, and then in the SimBrief flight plan page, you will go to takeoff performance. Now, in this page, of course, you'll make sure you have aircraft type, airport, as well as runway, and then everything else is there. Then populate the weather, and then you hit the calculate button. Once you hit the calculate button, it will give you your V speeds, that is V1, VR, and V2. 140, 145, and 150. That's our V speeds. And takeoff we can set to toga, flax, or derated as well. I like to do toga. Okay, I'm going to clear extra messages here. Now on the next page here for the climb, I will put 250 knots as pre-sol. And that is all for now. Now, let's get back to the flight plan as we need to enter a departure. So you're going to click on EGLL or whatever airport you're taking off from. So I'm clicking on EGLL and it gives me the option for departure. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and enter my runway. We have been given 09er right. Let me double check that. 09er right and mode M1J. Look for mode M1J and enter into the temporary flight plan. And boom, we have everything entered into our flight plan. Now with the EDMM, of course, you want to continue with your flight plan. So with Munich, you want to go to this document here and you want to go through your routing where you can see we're expecting runway 08 left in Munich with the Betos 1 Alpha. So we can come up here, arrival. There you go, 08 left. Approach ILS. Sorry, that's our star. Bet 1 Alpha. Insert. And that's inserted. So we don't have any discontinuity in our flight plan now. Okay, now we need to enter our transponder code. So again, we want to go to FMS1 and then in here, SURV serve. In here, we need to put in our transponder code. So our transponder today is going to be 6611. That is our squawk code, 6611, 6611. And then go to auto and you can put standby, TA only, or TRA. Again, if you're moving, you want to just go ahead and put the TRA. Leave everything else as it is. Go back and FMS1. And you can go to flight plan there. All right. Now, at this point in time, of course, everything looks normal. That being said, we can go ahead and request our pushback. However, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and go to ground and request the pushback clearance. So we are tuning into Heathrow ground here. Takes a little bit before the frequency gets captured. And apologies, before we proceed, everything else seems to be normal up here. Okay. Let's get our pushback.
Runway 9er right, taxi via Lima Alpha.
And we need to wait, we can't jump on anybody. Heathrow ground, speedbird 241, we are requesting push and start. Meanwhile, we can let go of our jet bridge.
Speedbird 241, push and start approved. Face southeast.
Jet bridge is gone. Push and start approved. Face southeast. Speedbird 241. Crew, arm all doors and cross check, please.
Copy, Captain. All doors are being armed and cross-checking now.
All right. Now, at this point in time, we want to make sure our flight director is good to go. It's on. Push this arrow so we don't have speed or anything. Altitude, we've been cleared 6,000 initial climb. So that's what we're going to put in here. And the backlights can be controlled through here. There are two knobs in here. Oh, so it's only one operated now. Previously, this was as well. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to put the wing on. Okay.
Speedbird 9068.
Gonna go to ramp and ask them to push me. Flight deck to ground, we are requesting push and start, face southeast. We can let this go and we can disconnect our GPU. Roger that. And they're gonna ask for the parking brake to be off. So we're just gonna wait for them. This is how it looks. You see another A380 Singapore. Quite beautiful in London Heathrow today. Okay, so they are connecting the tag, and also QNH can be placed up here as well, depending on what airport weather looks like. I'm having 1013 today. That's been feeded. Roger that. So tug's been connected. Yeah, I can go ahead and release the parking brake. Alrighty, so they have started pushing us back, and we can start the engines. Now, engine start lever is up here, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it on the ignition or start. And then we're gonna come up here, so we'll have this page. We can start 1, 2. Let's take you outside. That's our 1, 2 coming alive. A 777-300 from Turkish. And we can start number 3 and 4 now. And also you can find the checklist up here. However, I like to do the checklist with my AI Copilot. And that is all. That is how you perform the cold and dark startup of an Airbus A380X of the fly-by-wire. Again, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you guys like the video. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more videos.